Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back to my subscribers. As always, thank you so much for your support. So today's project is a no-sew mini flip book journal. Let's take a look. So the closure is made with some sari silk and a dangle that I made, a very long time ago. And let's take a look at the inside. So this is the cover. The back I just kept very plain, but let's get to the flipping. So it opens up and you've got a side tuck pocket here with some journaling cards. You have a pocket here with some journaling cards. And here's our first flip. And you have another side pocket here with more journaling cards and some labels and a little specimen there, some more journaling cards. And then here is our second flip. And as you know, I always like to give you a notepad. And here is our final tuck with some more journaling cards. So how did I do it? Let's get started. To create our no-sew flipbook journal, you'll need the following, and I've done a lot of pre-work to keep the video moving. So for the outer cover, you will need something that is, this is 8 1/8 by 6 inches, and then I scored at 4 inches and I scored again at 4 1/8 inches, and I folded and I folded, and then that gives you a little spine right there. Okay, so that's the cover. Then for the inner pages, you will need 2 of these. Okay, so let me show you what I have here. You will need 2 of these, and these measure, this is
7 7/8 inches by 6.
And I scored at 2 inches, and then I flipped it again and I scored at another 2 inches, and I did that twice. Okay, and we will come back to these in one moment. Then you will need, if you're doing it the way that I did it, so for my cover, I put some more cardstock on my cover, and this measures 3 1/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I also had a pocket, so let me give you the measurements if you want that. The pocket is 3 7/8 inches by 3 1/4 inches. Okay, then I had a notepad. Okay, and let me give you the measurements for that. And again, as you can see, I've done pre-work on stuff to keep the video moving along. So this is 5, and it's a little hair over 5 3/4, but let's just say that it's 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. So 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then for the notepad, the top cover was 3 3/4 by 2 inches, and that gets folded in half. Okay, so one last thing in terms of measurements. So I have my book pages in here, and my book pages, I took things in by 1/4 of an inch. So we know that I scored at 2 inches, and we know from this is 6 inches, so this is 2 by 6. So taking in 1/4 of an inch for my book page, it would be 1 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, if you wish to do the book page panels the way that I did. Okay, so let's get started putting things together. So we've set aside everything, right? And now I have my cover. I want to make sure that I have my cover on the right side. And I have the 2 panels, right? So let's have our panels facing us, right? So if you're doing things exactly the way that I am, where I have the book page panels, so right now the book page panels, they're all facing towards you. So you're reading it, you know, normal, and nothing is upside down, okay? Okay, and I'll take you through the steps. We'll get everything glued down together. But this is just so you know how to lay out your, panels, okay? So Z on one side, backwards Z on the other side, and the all of the text is facing you, okay? All right, so let's do this side first. So what I'm going to do is, that's where my writing is. I have that where it says left. Okay, I am going to glue 1, 2, 3 sides, and this stays open, okay? So I'm going to do that here. Get my glue down. Okay, and I am not going to put this on the fold, you know, where we did that score line, but I am going to put it right next to that score line. If I put it on it, then I may not be able to open and close my book. So I want to get that butted up right next to that and make sure that I can indeed open and close my book, and I can. Okay, so this is how you get that side tuck, okay? And then with this flap here, I'm going to glue here, and I'm going to glue here, and then I get another tuck, okay? So let me get that glued down, and I stop my glue right at the fold, and I'm going to glue right here, and I'm going to stop my glue right there at that fold. Okay. Okay. Now, remember, we have our backward Z. Everything is facing you. The text is facing you, okay? And I'm going to glue 1, 2, 3 sides here, and I'm going to butt that up right next to that score line, not on the score line, so that I can get my little side pocket here, right? So what we did on this side, we're doing the reverse on this side, okay? So my backward Z, turning it this way to me, putting some glue here on the top, and some glue here. All right, okay, so glue here, here, and here, and right next to that score line, not on top of it, but very close to it, and you make sure that you are aligned top and bottom. Let's make sure that this can fold. Okay, so now I'm going to press that in. Okay, so now I have my tuck right here, and just as we did on the other side, I'm going to put some glue down right to that fold, and I'm going to put glue here right to that fold, okay? And the same on this side. Okay, so let's see how things are coming along. So we've got our front cover, we have our first flip, and we have our second flip. Now we're going to put in our pocket. So I'm opening up the cover, and this blank space here, this is where I'm going to put the pocket. So I'm just going to glue down 3 sides. Okay, so we have our pocket on, and I'm going to flip, and I'm going to flip again, and this blank space over here, I'm going to get our notepad on. So let me set this aside, and with our notepad, let's see, I already started to glue things together. So I have 1, 2, 3, I have 4 sheets, okay? And what I started to do was, let me just show you. I run a bead of glue. Well, first, let me get them on top of, gathered together, okay? And what I did with the first one was, I took a bead of glue across it, and then I laid the page over, and then I just keep repeating that. A bead of glue, lay the next page on top, and let me just make sure that I'm as straight as I can be. Okay, and then I do another bead of glue, and then I lay the next page on top. I'm not going to fuss too much with being perfect and straight. It's a junk journal. I think it's okay to not be perfect. Okay, so you could either glue these down as I did, or you could just staple it together. Either way is fine. And then remember that piece that we had that we folded in half. So we're going to glue that to the top of this right here. Okay, so let me get some glue on this. Okay, and we will bring our flip book back, and we're just going to glue that right here. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this back a little bit. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue across the top there. And so that piece is done. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to get some labels and things on here. I want to get some cards in here, and then later on we'll come back and we'll work on the cover and a closure. So let me get some labels, some cards and things in here, and I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, so I've put in some journaling cards. I've put some labels on and specimens on, and some numbers, another specimen, some more numbers and labels. Okay, so I have already done some work to the cover. I've put on some metal ornaments, and I used glue dots to put them on. And in case you were wondering what distress ink I was using, it's the Vintage Photo. Okay, so I want to put a closure on this now. So I have some sari silk that I thought matches the flower very nicely, and I have a little dangle that I made a while ago, and it's shiny. It's I used the Mod Podge Dimensional Magic to get that look. So I want to take my Sorry Silk and just going to put it this way. Let's see. And going to bring the ends around on either side and just going to tie that. And then I want to make a little bow. Just keeping it simple. And then I'm going to take my little dangle here. And I'm just going to pin it to the bow, if I can get it through the silk. So, a little challenging right there. But that is the project for today. And I do hope that you like it. And thank you for joining me today. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Okay, everyone. If you like this video, please share, please hit the like button, and please subscribe. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.